What a sound, and have I got a treat for you today. This is the audition and demo of Yamaha's CVP-809. They also make it in a grand piano version, which we have. Actually, it's sitting right up there on the stage, so if you like how that looks, come and check it out. The CVP series, I'd like to think that the V stands for versatile. So just about anything that you could ever possibly want to do on a keyboard musical instrument, you can do on this Clavinova. You already heard the opening demo there of the CFX Concert Grand, the flagship 9-foot Concert Grand. And Yamaha, of course, also owns the Bosendorfer factory, and that sample is in here as well. You'll notice that the operating system is a touch screen. If I want to channel my inner Elton John, if I want an ambient kind of piano, and how I like to generally explain this is Yamaha really thought this through with the operating system. So up here, you'll notice that there are categories: piano, organ, string, brass, woodwind, basically orchestral sounds in addition to synth effects and other effects. So you just go to the category you want, and then within that category there are subcategories. So for instance, under the piano category, I also have like upright piano, which would be a vertical instrument, not a grand, including even a honky-tonk. Piano layers. That means like a sandwich, two different tones in the same sample. So let's put on a mix here. Of course, great samples of electric pianos. Those phased sounds. You can relive all your 60s and 70s and of course 80s music with the Yamaha DX7 sample. And many others. I love the guitar samples on this instrument. The concert guitar. A great steel guitar. Channel your inner Christopher Cross or anything like that. Great effects with amplified jazz guitar sounds. Let's hear some of the organ effects. And we've had a lot of success with marketing the CVP series to institutions. And depending on, like if it's going into a church, depending on the style of worship music, you have very traditional classic pipe samples. The principal flute effect, which I really like. And you can renew your vows. But perhaps you prefer the sounds of the tone wheel generated instruments. Other effects that I like to show off are the wide array of the orchestral instruments, including the brass family and the woodwind. And what's great is they're categorized by solo or by an ensemble. So for instance, if you really want to hear a classical flute or a clarinet or an oboe, or you can put them in ensembles. Same thing with brass. So if you want to hear a solo brass trumpet, dial that up. If you want to hear a brass ensemble, dial that up as well. I'd also like to show you some of my favorite sounds here, which are in the percussion family, the chromatic percussion, including like the vibraphone, xylophone, the music box, and then for the orchestral sounds, there's a great concert celesta, so Sugar Plum Fairies, watch out. You may be interested to know that this instrument is used quite regularly with the Rockford Symphony Orchestra. I'm one of the pianists for that ensemble. And if it's good enough for the guy standing on the podium, it's probably pretty much good enough for you as well. I know I love it. Now, that's one aspect of the instrument. And again, it's so versatile. I kind of hesitate to make this a super long demo, but I think it's important that you notice or know that not only can we just dial up these sounds, but we can also preset them, and we can adjust volumes and balances. So once again, in the institutional market, this is invaluable. So let's suppose that we go back to our piano effect, the big CFX sound. And then let's say, I would like to hear some strings with that, so we can just layer it, and voila. Now let's suppose that we wanted to make the string effect, which is like our subordinate sound, we want to make that a little fuller. Well, there's a EQ on here. Hear how the string volume is coming up? Now let's inch it back down. So I have all these infinite settings. Now let's say I just love that, I spent a little time really massaging that sound. I'm going to now store it in the registration memory, and that's permanent in the instrument. You have 8 registration memory right on the panel here, plus many banks deeper than that. All of that is stored internally on the instrument, and if you chose to, which I recommend highly, you can store it to the external flash drive. So let's say, once again, that it's in a house of worship and you have 2 different pianists. One pianist can have his USB drive, the other pianist can have hers, your own favorite settings, and everybody's happy and no one's erasing anybody's content. So the beauty of that is, as you progress, let's say that we wanted to adjust the primary sound to an electric piano with strings and store that. So now I have the acoustic piano with strings on number 1, and the electric piano with strings on number 2, and I can toggle back and forth between them at will. You can fill all 8 banks, which is a great way to save time and to kind of punch up your playing at home. And speaking of playing at home, I think it's important we talk about the style engine. There are hundreds and hundreds of styles on the instrument. So if you are into, let's just say, the kind of the jazz function, on this instrument we have pre-programmed background styles. So if we put on our start and put on an introduction, we can get a really great jazz accompaniment background to play along with my right hand. So let's hear what this sounds like. The introduction is in the key of C. Variation. And automatic endings too. If you like what you hear, and I hope you do, there's lots more I can show you when you come visit us here at the store. Thanks again for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this brief tour of the CVP-809.